Hey everyone, some of you know that sometimes in my talks I use the video of Disney called Inside Out. I think that is one of the most amazing animated videos ever. If you don't know the story, this is homework. After you watch this video, you have to check out Inside Out. The story is very simple. It is a world seen from the brains of a teenage girl, and what we learn is how the emotions in our brain work. Now, if you will see this video, you will see that the person who programmed our brain completely screwed up because we have 5 basic emotions and 4 of them are negative. So we only have joy as a positive one, and then we have anger, we have fear, we have disgust, and we have sadness. 4 negative emotions. And if you link that back to customer experience, that is why customers complain so much, and that's why people nag about details all the time, but they cannot help it. They were programmed in a wrong way. Now, if you know that, this is really valuable to take that information with you when you think about how to solve a customer problem. For instance, imagine that something goes wrong and it is the fault of the customer. Question is, how do you react to that? And many companies, when it's the customer's fault, they have like a meeting about it, and they will figure out how to prove it to that customer that the customer is actually wrong. Then what happens is, if you communicate that to the customer, even that the customer knows that he or she is wrong, they're still pissed off because they have the feeling that they're a good client, and they will come back to you and say, okay, it was my fault, but still I would expect you to help me with that. And then eventually you will solve it. Now, at the end of the day, if you solve it after that negative intermezzo, you won't have a positive outcome. So I think it's smarter to think about how can you get to a positive outcome. You have a problem, how to get to that positive outcome. And the answer is very simple. You basically do what the customer wants you to do, whatever the price is and whatever the effort it is that it takes you. Even if you hate to do it, if you want to get to that positive outcome, that's probably what you need to do. Now, in that phase in between, the big danger is that when the mistake happens, and you want to get there, that in between you will have anger, you will have fear, you will have disgust, and you'll have sadness that will take over meetings, that will take over your brain. And the question is, if there's a problem with a customer, the real question that you will need to ask yourself is this one: what would joy do? And I love to do this in brainstorms. Every single time when someone starts to become angry or scared that something bad will happen if they solve a problem for a customer, if all those negative emotions pop up, the only question you need to ask yourself is this one: what would joy do? And I would recommend you to print that out or to buy those little joy puppets even on Amazon and put them in your office, because the more you let joy decide, the happier your customer is going to be. The more energy your team will get, because it's fun to do that. It's like that example that I read one day about this car that was left on a parking lot in a restaurant. And they left it there because the people that went to the restaurant, they had a few beers, maybe a few too many, so they decided to leave the car there and to take an Uber home. Imagine that situation, and imagine it's lunchtime and the car is still there and that owner didn't pick it up yet. How would you react as a restaurant owner? It's very easy to say, look, that car is still there. Couldn't they have known up front that they would start drinking in a restaurant? And what if all customers would leave their car like this? How would this end up here in this place? And our new customers cannot park. It's so easy for fear and anger to take over. Now the question is, what would joy do? And in that specific case, when that owner picked up her car, she saw that there was this message there from the restaurant that said something like, hey, thanks for being here. Thanks for being responsible. We don't know if you had too much to drink, but there's a likelihood that you left your car here because you took a taxi home, and we really appreciate that. And because of your responsibility in life, we give you a free lunch for the next time that you come over here. Thank you for being respectful to life. And that message got shared like 200,000 times on Facebook. And I was thinking, why did it get shared so much? Not because it's like an exceptional example. No, it's because joy made the decision. And the truth is, in this world, it's really rare that joy takes decisions. It's most of the time the other 4 that takes decisions. The moment when joy takes a decision, you get shared on Facebook. It's so simple, but on the other hand, it is so unique. So what would joy do is like the question in your next meeting, in your next decision, and make sure that joy calls the spots and the shots in your company. And I hope you will enjoy this video. I hope you will share it to people in your company that let the other 4 decide. So use this as an argument to people that don't use joy that much. and tell them, what would joy do? And I hope you're gonna have a joyful day, and I hope to see you again in one of my next videos. Bye-bye.